Hare Krishna. So, in Bhagavad-gita, Krishna was speaking, Arjuna was hearing. Arjuna was asking question, Krishna was speaking. So, when Krishna was speaking and Arjuna was speaking, who else was there who was hearing? There was one personality who was hearing it very clearly, and his name was Sanjaya. And now, after hearing the entire Gita, after hearing the final conclusion of Arjun, now Sanjaya starts speaking. And he is speaking to whom? He is speaking to Dhritarashtra, the father of all the Kauravas. So let's hear from Sanjaya what is his opinion and what he feels after hearing this entire Gita. Shloka number 74 and 75. Sanjayo vacha ityaham vasudevasya Parthasya cha mahatmanah samvadam imam ashrausham adbhutam romaharshanam. So, in Shloka number 74, Sanjaya, he starts speaking and he's telling what are the feelings that he has when he is hearing this Gita. In fact, he is starting to answer that question which Dhritarashtra had asked in the first shloka of Gita. Sanjaya, please tell me, when my sons and sons of Pandu came or assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is actually Dharmakshetra, with a desire to fight, what did they do, O Sanjaya? So he had a very deeper question. It was a very deep question because he wanted to know what happened. Did any compromise happen? Are my sons ready to fight? Are Pandavas ready to fight? Or they are giving up just before fighting? What is it? What happened? And now Sanjaya starts speaking. He is saying that iti aham and ashrausham. Thus I have heard. What have you heard, Sanjaya? What have you heard? Samvadam, conversation. Between whom? Between Mahatmanaha, the great souls, two great souls. Who are the two great souls? First, Vasudeva, Krishna, Partha, Arjuna. So I have heard the samvada between Vasudeva and Partha. And then, we ask him, so how was that? How did you feel? What are you feeling now? And he is saying, Adbhutam. So wonderful. So wonderful is this message that Roma Harshanam, my hair are standing on end. He's getting goosebumps hearing the entire Gita. And the question is asked to him, but you were sitting here in the palace, battle was happening in Kurukshetra, how come you got to hear all this? What happened? And then Sanjaya is answering this. He's answering in Shloka number 75. He says, Vyasa prasadat, by the mercy of Vyasa, Shrutavan, okay, I have to recite the shloka. Vyasa prasadak Shrutavan, etad guhyam aham param, yogam yogeshwarat Krishna, sakshat kathayatah swayam. So here, what is Arjuna saying? By whose mercy? By Vyasadeva's mercy. Because of his mercy, he could hear. Shrutavan, he could hear. What he could hear? Etad guhyam aham param yogam. He could hear the most confidential talks directly from whom? Yogeshwarat Krishnat. Directly from the master of mysticism, that is Krishna. Sakshat Kathayatah Swayam, who was speaking personally to Arjun. Now, this is the ecstasy of Sanjaya. Sanjaya is saying that by the mercy of Vyasa, my spiritual master, I was able to hear directly from Krishna the way Arjuna heard it on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And just by hearing that, he's ecstatic, his hair on the body is standing on and he's getting goosebumps. So here, we have to understand a very, very important point. Let's get into the depth of this particular shloka. Vyasa was the spiritual master of Sanjaya, and Sanjaya admits that it was by Vyasa's mercy that he could understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, by the mercy of spiritual master Vyasadev, Sanjaya was able to clearly hear what Krishna is speaking on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Now, this is a very, very important point. Many times people say, me and my Krishna, no one in between. But we have to understand one thing, okay, me and my Krishna is okay. But then how will we understand Krishna? Are we that intelligent? Are we that enlightened? Is it that all our anarthas are gone that we'll be able to understand the spiritual personality, Krishna? So this should be very clear that we cannot understand Krishna directly. Not possible. Here Sanjaya was able to understand Krishna by the mercy of Vyasadeva. Similarly, we will be able to understand the Lord only by the mercy of the spiritual master who is the bona fide representative of Krishna. So what is the qualification of spiritual master? Qualification of spiritual master is, he is acting as a transparent via medium between Krishna and between us. So since he's acting as transparent via medium, so what happens when we hear from the spiritual master? It is exactly like hearing from Krishna like Arjuna heard on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So this is a very important qualification. And another very important thing that the spiritual master should have is, he should be connected to a bona fide sampradaya, that is Guru disciplic succession. There are 4 Guru disciplic succession according to the Shastra which are bona fide. There is no 5th one. Shri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya and Brahma Sampradaya. So Brahma Sampradaya is what is followed in ISKCON. And here it's very clear that if we are in the Sampradaya, if we are hearing from a spiritual master who comes in the Sampradaya, then what will happen? We will get the same message from Krishna. In fact, it is said, more the number of personalities between us and Krishna, more clearly we can understand the personality Krishna. It's almost like telescope. Say we want to see the infinite objects, seemingly infinite objects for us, in the space. Say we want to see that huge objects. So when we take the telescope and then we want to see and say it's not clear. So what do people do? They'll add more lenses in between. And then the more lenses are added, the more the number of lenses, more clear the picture will be. Similarly, when it comes to us, to understand that infinite personality whom Arjuna saw on the battlefield of Kurukshetra in his universal form, to understand that great personality, we cannot do it just by these 2 eyes and these 2 ears. We need more clarity, and that clarity will be provided to us by these great personalities, these selfless personalities who are there in the parampara, starting from Krishna down to our spiritual master and further at Srila Prabhupada. So in this way we understand that how these different personalities are acting as lenses. And then when we actually see, when I say see, it means hear. So when we hear the message that is given by the Lord, it becomes very, very clear to understand about name, form, qualities and pastimes and abode of the Lord. Without Guru disciplic succession, without the parampara, without the help of the spiritual master, we cannot understand Krishna. And sometimes people say, no, but then it's very difficult to choose a spiritual master. There are so many dhongi people around. Oh, how can I find a spiritual master? What if I get cheated? Only people who are ready to get cheated will be cheated. Cheaters will come in their life. But if we are sincere spiritual seekers, Krishna as Paramatma within the heart will direct the right person in our life, or we will be directed to that person, a bona fide spiritual master. So problem is not outside, problem is inside. Yes, dhongi sadhus are there, fake gurus are there. But if we are sincere, if we have a sincere desire to understand Gita, to advance on the path of spirituality or bhakti, and go back home back to Godhead by breaking the cycle of birth and death, if we have the sincere, intense desire, Krishna will send that bona fide representative in our life. There's no doubt about that. Because more than us, Krishna is eager to take us back home back to Godhead. More than us. So he will do everything possible to facilitate our journey back home, back to Godhead. So, what is the qualification that we need to have? We need to have that intense desire to advance on this wonderful path of bhakti and attain Krishna. This intense desire should be there. Everything else will manifest automatically because Krishna will do that. After all, he is the great mystic, he can do anything. He can place us at the lotus feet of the spiritual master next day itself when we have the intense desire. Or he can bring the spiritual master in our life who knocks our door early in the morning and we open and then we see our spiritual master. And we are so fortunate. We all are so fortunate that we not go searching here and there. This wonderful organization ISKCON set it up or established by the founder Acharya A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the pure devotee of the Lord, who created this entire revolutionary mission, or who started this entire revolutionary mission all around the world, where hippies were converted into happies, where people accepted this knowledge of Gita and transformed their life and they started preaching the message of Gita. This personality who did this miracle, Srila Prabhupada, is that personality who is actually giving us this knowledge through his purports of Bhaktivedanta. Bhaktivedanta purports basically. So we are so fortunate, we already have our spiritual master. The only thing is we have to abide by the instructions given by the spiritual master. So if we want to understand Krishna, we have to abide by the instructions given by the spiritual master. So what does Srila Prabhupada expects from us? First, chant minimum 16 rounds every single day. Second, follow the 4 regulative principles of no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication. Third, study the scriptures that is given to us. Bhagavad-gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, so many other books like Science of Self-Realization, Beyond Birth and Death, and so many others which are there. Fourth, be in this organization with the other devotees and render service onto this wonderful mission that was established. Fifth, perfect your life by doing all these different activities and simultaneously help others. This is very much expected by Srila Prabhupada. Preach this message to others. Preach this message to others. He did that at the age of 70 plus. We are still young. We can do it. So that expectation is very clear. And obviously, Prabhupada is very clear. He wants all of us to be happy. And he's very clear about this, that by doing devotional service, we all will be happy. So we have to take to this process of devotional service very, very seriously. Then we can actually fulfill the instruction given by Srila Prabhupada. And by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and our predecessors, Acharyas, we will be able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and go back home, back to Godhead. So it's very clear by Sanjaya's statements that by the mercy of my spiritual master, I have heard and understood the personality Krishna. What else did Sanjaya say on the battlefield? Hearing from the battlefield. What else did he say to Dhritarashtra? Let's see this in the next video. Hare Krishna.